Well, things are about to get a whole lot more interesting in Wales at the moment because TNS have made group stage football for the first time since the league format change and, of course, the fixture congestion issue. How on earth they'll cope with 3 or 4 games, presumably a week, I don't know. We'll find out as the season goes on. But today, we face them between 2 qualifying legs. I'm sure we're not their priority, but a win could give us a real upper hand as we look to take advantage of their success this year. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 23 of this FM26 Build a Nation story, a Rhyl rebuild with me, Daniel. We are back today and I've shown you the club site screen to start with, so you can see that we've got a new star player at the club. We've got a big fixture coming up away at TNS. We'll also play at home to Newtown after, and we're going to have to reflect not really on us today, but more on the European run of another side. If you're looking forward to all of that, as you can see, we have dropped points already this season, and please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. It's been a really strange start in our first 2 matches in the league, which we'll talk about in a moment. And we've also had a bit of a disaster elsewhere. It has not been the same sort of start as we had last year. Let's go and have a look at what's been going on, because we have to start with our fixture schedule, which has been, well, very interesting, because you were with me as we went out to Valor in the European Europa Conference qualifiers. We got to the second round, but then were very heavily beaten by a good side. And the hangover continued, because on the Sunday, I had to rotate against Flint Town. Almost everyone was in poor condition. We went for a, well, partly backup 11, but then Calder and Farkey coming in are going to be first teamers. Hamza Ahmed got a goal, but we were beaten comfortably as Flint Town really put us to the sword. We go out of the MG Cup at the first attempt. And I think this is going to be a problem as we go through the save with congestion until we can build that squad that is just the second team is good enough for the top of the Welsh Premier League. We're going to be in real trouble. Again, Diamansi Kawanda was the best player on the pitch, despite the fact that he is the worst rated player at the club now. But it wasn't enough. A 3-1 defeat there, a really disappointing day. Followed up by a frustrating one against Pennybon. We conceded a 93rd minute equaliser in what was actually one of our best performances for a long time. We dominated the game. We didn't take our chances. We have got a problem at the start of this season. Seb Bolton's been out of form. You can see I brought Ahmed on in that game. He didn't get the winner there. However, in the next game, he was the hero against Colwyn Bay because we won 3-0. But ironically, in this game, we were really poor. We only had the 4 shots on target. 3 of them were the goals in the last 20 minutes. And before Ahmed came on, not a lot. So a great sign for the future that he's looking good. But a worry that Seb Bolton's out of form. A worry that we've not got the depth in certain positions. And we're still a little bit short of maybe the quality we expected to have at this point. And I'm having to take some gambles as well, where we've got 2 choices between loan players. Because we're not in a European group stage now, I've probably got to take the cheaper option. Where we've got a choice between signing a player for the future or signing a brilliant loan for now, I'm probably having to go for the future, because at the moment, we're not bringing in that big income this year now. Yes, we've built the finances up a bit, but we want that to go on facilities. We want that to go on improvements at the club, not into the wage bill for what is essentially a domestic season where we would expect to be in the top 3 or 4 again. We're expected to get a top half finish by the board. We have now got into the top half of the pre-season expectations. And of course, we've made a couple of good additions to the squad still. But the story is our next club, TNS, because we're coming up against them today and they are in the group stages of the Europa Conference at least. And I would expect it to be that as well. If we have a scroll up and look at what they've been doing, you saw in the first qualifying round, they came back against Coleraine. They then lost very heavily in the first leg to Karabag and went out of Champions League qualifying. Before they played against the Faroese side, KI, they won the first leg 3-1 at home. Then lost 2-0 on the way, but won on penalty kicks despite a late red card. A fantastic effort from them to get through to the Europa League playoff round where they face Karabag again. They're 2-0 down after the first leg. I'd expect them to go out. And of course, for the 3rd time in this save, we've got very lucky with when we faced them. But they are guaranteed Europa Conference League football. And that is going to make a big difference, because where do they fit the games? I know that there's a little bit of room for manoeuvre, but there's not much. There aren't many midweeks. And when you combine the fact that they're going to be coming into the cup, they got through on penalties against Mold Alex, which might prove to be an absolute curse in the grand scheme of things. How many players they've got in a squad, I don't know. They've got some good players there, but they've only signed 3 so far this year. Yes, they've paid 140 grand for one of them. They are certainly signing good players, but they're not signing enough to make me think they're going to have a 30, 35-man squad. So unless they can get a few really good loans in on deadline day, which the transfer does seem to have dried up a bit now, I do worry for them moving forward. However, we've got to talk about transfers on our front as well as TNS, because if we go and scroll up to our ones here, we have got another couple of additions since you were last with me. You saw the debuts of the first 3 last time out, but when you add Noah Daly and those 3 to the 2 we've signed since, it is 6 transfers in this summer. It's an improvement to the squad overall, but maybe not quite to the extent that we thought. However, this boy is a superstar. Jerome Richards essentially signed because Kieran Petrie has confirmed he's leaving at the end of his contract, and we need a superstar to replace him. As you saw, he was a star man in some of the episodes recently. Jerome Richards comes in as a right winger who can also play off the left. 4.5-star ability, exceptional at every element that is key to his game. Maybe not the best off the ball movement, but still pretty solid. And everything else technically, he's at a level we've not had before. Came off the bench and got an assist in one of his first 2 games. He looks a good player to me, and I think with a bit of room to grow into and an okay personality, we're going to see an absolute superstar there over the next couple of years, as long as he doesn't want to leave soon after. Then we've got a bit of a weird one. It's a player we've been linked with from the start, and you saw that we've got now Dakin and Brennan in central midfield, but behind it we only have Bronny Phillips. So I've signed a 4th option there, and we had a chance to get in a young player or 2, but both of them rejected us. We tried to get a mentoring group lead in Mafuta, who rejected us. So I've gone for Kadan Taylor, who was loan listed by Connors Key Nomads. And I thought, well, if I can improve a player for them a little bit, then perhaps it helps them in the future too. Kadan Taylor is a 2.5-star centre mid, 2.5-star holding mid. He's not brilliant physically, so he's not going to be able to play 2 or 3 games a week, but we don't really need that. He's got big potential. He's got an okay personality. He's played a cup game already this season, but if he can play a few games for us in the midweek fixtures and improve a little bit, then I think that's brilliant news for us and for the nation. So it's a bit of a roundabout way of helping to build a nation at this stage. But Kadan Taylor, he was the best of the backup options we could get, or we could get a superstar who wanted twice the money that anyone else has got. So I think what I'm going to do now is just sort of stick with this squad at the moment, but then save the bit of finances that are remaining on the wage budget, so that if some of the free agents we've been targeting don't get a club, and they drop their wage demands from, say, 450 to 250, 300 later in the year, we can then focus on improving the team again for next season. But at the moment, I didn't want to go and splash the cash on people who were pretty average in truth, or in most cases, where they've been affordable, they've rejected us. So let's just get what we can in for now. 50 quid a week contribution. We might help another club in the nation, and then we can save a bit of money to focus later on players that might be even better for us. So no chance of getting a midfielder of the level of the 4 we bought in before, but still some good business. We've improved the squad. We've basically got 2 people in every position now, so we should be able to rotate in certain fixtures and still do all right. Albeit, I would, in an ideal world, like one more holding midfielder. So like last year, where we had Barnes on loan from Harrogate, we could get someone of that standard, I think we'd then be pretty much set in stone. There does seem to be an issue with the goalkeeping situation where the director of football is desperately trying to sign me one. I'm not sure why. Hunter's never let me down. Spinelli is okay, and he can do a job as a backup. He's tried to let him go as well. But I think I'm pretty happy with where we are. I don't want to go mad at this point and have to introduce a whole new squad when we're playing every 3 days. That team cohesion, yes, it might only take 2 or 3 months. But if we're doing that when we're playing 8 or 9 games a month, they ain't going to be training and improving, are they? So let's go and get through to the first game today. It's a massive one in terms of the title race because TNS you would expect to slip up when they're playing more football now. So far, they've still managed to get 6 points from 2. Connors Key have done exactly the same. And then the other sides that you would expect to be doing well haven't really. But let's go and get through to the first of these matches. This is the squad that we played last time. And I think it's pretty much our strongest now. Noah Daly is someone who has featured a couple of times. Came on off the bench against Colwyn Bay. I've decided I'm going to bring him in for Lafondra today. I'm going to persist with Bolton once more. If he struggles in this TNS game, we'll bring Ahmed in for the Newtown one. I've got to be wary of the under-19s on the bench, and I haven't got another option at the moment. The other change we've had to make from the Colwyn Bay one is a pretty important one, because Lewis Hunter has picked up an injury, only a couple of weeks, but he's not fit today. So Spinelli comes in between the sticks. He will play in goal for us. We've got Stanley, Fisher, Farke and Calder at the back four. The new look back four, which is starting to settle now. Got its clean sheet last weekend. Brennan and Dakin, the midfield two without doubt. Petrie will start on the right again for now because he's playing well, but it's not going to be long before Richards takes over. O'Neill and Daly, the others in the attacking midfield three, behind Seb Bolton up front. As we face TNS and see how they cope after Thursday night football, I'm sure will have been a tough trip in Azerbaijan. Well, here is the TNS side today, and actually only 4 changes this time. A fairly strong team. Madimu has scored against us before. Dawes is a good player, but you look at the quality they've got now. Miles is the player they signed for a 6-figure sum. He comes in. Yorpenda was suspended on Thursday, would have played otherwise. Adam Wilson, we know the quality he's got. Again, though, the high squad numbers, I don't quite understand it this year, but let's go and get into the first half. We're away at TNS. Anything other than a defeat is probably good in the circumstances. If we were playing them as we did after the split last year, you would expect a TNS win. But they've got bigger fish to fry at the moment. And my aim is to try and take advantage this year because that's what it should be. They're playing 4-3-3. We know what they're going to do. But how well are they going to produce? And one thing I have noticed as we come into this game, attendances do seem to be increasing pretty quickly in Wales. It's something that never used to happen in the Builder Nation before. But 550 in at TNS is a big upgrade on before. So maybe we are going to see that gradual increase as we go along. It's been a quiet first 8 minutes, but we are on the attack now. And hopefully this team, as it settles and as it becomes more cohesive, it will only get better as it goes along. As Daly crosses from the left, Petrie's up, hits the woodwork and it's cleared. Noah Daly is looking menacing on that left-hand side. I do like him. And obviously he's got the height of the back stick as well. As Petrie across the box, cleared away well. And Corness, who's not long back from injury himself, with a big clearance downfield. Stays 0-0, but first chance to Rhyl so far. Well, corner kick for TNS. From the right-hand side is Corness on duty as he delivers into the front post. Spinelli makes the save. Fair play to the sub-keeper. He's only really played in that League Cup match and in the second leg of the Drita tie where he had a bit of a stinker. Probably the biggest game he's ever played, in fairness. He makes a good stop there because we could have been behind. TNS dominating the ball, but not many chances either way. And if this peters out into a 0-0, I would not be devastated. Well, 2 minutes to the break as we're back under pressure again. Though Brennan heads away to Bolton and we can break with Petrie. I know it might look bad that this could be 2 without a win or 2 of our first 3 games without a victory, but we've played 3 sides that were in the top 6 last year. Pennybont made Europe with us. TNS won the title and Colwyn Bay were flying as Bolton's in. Seb Bolton! Who cares now? It's not going to be 2 games without a win out of the 3 because Seb Bolton has got it from Mikey O'Neill and he's ended the goal drought. He always seems to score against TNS. I don't know what it is. Andy Appan with the header away. O'Neill just nicks in time. And Bolton, first touch is good. No composure, just absolutely lashes it into the net. And is probably what he needed at this stage. Another 1-0 that's undeserved against TNS. We're not going to complain at this stage. We're ahead just before the break. And their Thursday night fatigue probably showing because they've not dominated in the way they did in our last encounter. As Noah Daly surging down the left, he's played really well. Brennan gets it wide to Calder. And again into the box. Daly back to Calder. Good cross towards Petrie. Up at the back stick, but it's headed away. And now TNS can break. Could we find a way to go in level? They're breaking away, but there's only 5 seconds left. The half-time whistle does go. It's been a good half. We've done all right there. And we're 1-0 up. Yes, TNS aren't at their best. Of course, they're tired after Thursday. And this is going to be a really big test for this year. And it's the worry with Wales. Now with this fixture congestion, TNS are going to reach the groups, bring in the money, and not be able to capitalise because they won't then make it next year because they won't be able to win the league. It's a really odd one, but I'm going to say we're happy. Keep it up. It's been a good performance. Without being spectacular, we've done our job so far. As Corness and Yorpenda play a 1-2, Ramsey's got time, and TNS just keep in possession. Are they going to be able to create that chance, though? Otte down the left, and it's not ended. This highlight after 10 seconds. So are they going to cause danger straight from the kickoff? Miles towards Otte again. Noah Daly defending well. And we've got a chance to break away. Daly runs past 2. Goes left to O'Neill, who's got support down the line. O'Neill's going himself, though. There's options in the middle. Mikey O'Neill to the byline. Good cross in. Holgate away. O'Neill in again. Bolton up. Loses out. Falls for Brennan on the edge of the box. He gives it to O'Neill. Noah Daly. What a start to the half. Dakin plays a 1-2. It's back to Calder, who can deliver the cross and does. Bolton's up. 2-0. And Seb Bolton is well and truly back in form. This is why we always trust Seb Bolton. Whether it's an injury, whether it's a goal drought, he always comes out of it on fire, and he seems to bounce back every time. Seb Bolton with a second goal. Calder, the assist maker again. What a signing he's been. Great personality and a very good left foot to put a cross in. And with a minute gone in the second half, TNS's trip to Azerbaijan is starting to show here. We lead 2-0 at Park Hall, and we're in a very good position to go ahead of them in the table. Well, an hour gone, TNS have made their first change on the left, and we're going to respond on our right-hand side. Petrie is going to be replaced by Jerome Richards, the new boy, who we're just building the fitness of. And to be fair, Petrie's been the only one of the front four that's not really delivered because everything's come down our left-hand side. He's on, and we're going to make a couple more in a moment. Not that there's too many options now. Noah Daly will get a rest soon as well. With just over 20 to go, or just under 20 now. We're going to bring Baldwin on at right back. We're going to take Daly off for Kian Lafondra. And this is the depth we're talking about in some positions. Dakin is another one that we'd like to take off. He's had a lot of football since coming back from that injury. I'm going to leave it to the final 10. We'll leave Bolton on today because he's done really well. But now we are going to make those two. And this game is petering out. TNS have not got the squad to cope with that Thursday night and this. And without those 3 or 4 stars, it's difficult. Brony Phillips will replace Dakin, who will switch sides with Brennan. The other options on the bench are basically 2 defenders or a centre forward. And I'm not sure which is best here. I think we'll take Calder off because he struggled physically towards the end at times. Liam Muscat is going to come on. I'm not taking chances with the youngster today. Physics is improving in training, but he doesn't need loads of football. So all 5 are made, and now we're back as Wilson tries to take on Baldwin. But he does really well. You can see Pennybont have found some form today. They're 3-0 up as we switch it to Lafondra. And we look to put a bit of gloss on this. Build the goal difference up. Farkey looking solid at the back. Finds Brennan. Lafondra gives it away though, and in they go with Wilson. Chance to make it a grandstand finish. Don't rule TNS out yet. Ben Wilson gets the goal. There are 8 minutes to go. And that is Kian Lafondra on making a big mistake. You can see why Noah Daly's getting the start, can't you? Pennybont have conceded on cue as well. Just don't praise teams because it all goes wrong. Now we've got a nervy 5 minutes. We might have to throw the time wasting on soon. Not had to do that for a while. Connors Key losing to Colwyn Bay as well. It's all tightening up in the Welsh Prem again. As Baldwin plays inside to Fisher. Down the line to Brony Phillips. Big chip over the top. Richards, the new boy, can get to the byline. Bolton's in the middle, waiting for a hat-trick. Richards finds the cross. Bolton's up. Wind a header. And just wide of the post. Almost got himself the goal. Really good stuff on the counter-attack. And as we approach the final whistle, how many are added on? 5. They've got an injury up front, but I'm going to have to do it. We don't often, but we're going to get the time wasting on it more often. We're also going to lower the tempo very slightly. Just to try and slow it down a bit. We can even play for set pieces at this point. But keeping the ball in play seems to have worked for us. So let's go for that for now. We're not going to do too much. We're just going to gradually be calm. We've got a fairly balanced tactic, so those little changes can make the difference. 2 minutes of stoppage time. As you can see, it's been a very even game, but we're going to nick it by 2 goals to 1. TNS, playing them after a trip to Azerbaijan, was always going to be tricky for them. But what a result. My hope is, once they reach the group stages, they'll get a few good loans in and start to build the squad. But for now, Rhyl have got to 7 points. We've overtaken TNS. We've overtaken Connors Key. It's a strange weekend in the league, isn't it? The table is starting to change a little bit. Let's have a look at what that does. Only Barrytown United ahead of us, who have flown off the mark with 9 points. Cambrian United up there as well, and a lot of teams on 6 points too. Well, we return to face Newtown in a Saturday afternoon football, but first let's have a quick look at TNS and who they've drawn in Europa Conference groups and what their schedule looks like, having lost to Karabag. What have they got now? Oh my word. I mean, look at that. So their first Conference League game, hang on. Let's work out where they are. So they've got one in September. That's not actually too bad. Wednesday, Tuesday, Saturday, Thursday, Sunday. So it's only 2 a week still. But what happens if they get through in the cup? I don't know. Then into October, that's pushing it now. Wednesday, Monday, Thursday, Sunday. But I guess technically still only 2 a week. Then in November, that one's a little bit of a lighter month generally. But again, that's because the cup starts, which could be problematic for them. And then into December, oh, they've actually managed to work it out pretty decently, I would say. I guess it's going to change when cup competitions come in, and that's going to be the worry. But they are still playing, 9 games there. in October, which is not ideal. And obviously, they're signing better quality players now. What on earth's going to happen when the international breaks come around? I should mention, though, in that Conference League group, I'm not expecting them to get through or anything, but they've got Lincoln Gibraltar, who is a winnable match for them. Obviously, Twente and Real Betis, they're going to get absolutely battered by. But then, aside from that, and Sparta Prague, but AIK of Sweden, and then what was the other one? Astana. At home is an opportunity, I guess, but Lincoln Gibraltar could be 3 points for them. It's a massive effort from TNS, so well done to them. They're not signing anyone else yet, so deadline day is going to be crucial. But for us, it's all about Newtown. Let's see what team we can put out today. Hunter is not quite fit, so he will stay out. Matty Senior is now forcing his way out the club. He's unhappy that we weren't willing to give him first team football, despite the fact he's the fourth centre half. So not going to happen there. I am going to make a couple of adjustments for this game, not too many. I'm going to bring Petrie out for Richards, who will make his first start for the club. He is an improvement, supposedly, on that right-hand side. And actually, I think that'll be the only one for now. So we're going to make one change. We're going to head in to the second game of today's episode. And let's see how many of the stars are playing for Newtown, because there are some fun names in this team. Well, some are and some aren't actually at the moment, but it's an interesting side they've got. So their sub-keeper, and the reason I wanted to talk about them was Nathan Ashmore, who obviously those who are following my Twitch save with Bedford Town, we had a few run-ins with him first season. Wensley Funguk and Aidan Francis Clark, a former Luton youth player who we tried to sign in at Bedford save amongst their 11 today as well. So this is an interesting team. They've got a new number 9 and have dropped Rutty, who seemed to score against us every game last season. So let's just address the team. It looks like they're playing 4-4-2, so might be a chance for Mikey O'Neill to dominate the middle of the park. Let's get a few people on board. Let's see if we can keep the good run going, because with TNS slipping up against us last week, and now with European football, this is a chance for us to really push on. Let's see how it goes as we're into the first half. I guess actually, the more I think about it, it's actually better that TNS qualify for the Conference League each year, because there's only 6 league fixtures there rather than 8. And if they can get into the latter phases as well, which they've got a better chance in that competition, could be great for us, as Dakin delivers an early cross. It's dealt with by the Newtown keeper. One of these matches, we're going to see a lot of the early stages by the looks of it. No 10-second highlight today, as Roberts throws out at the back. Jones will work into midfield, but instead goes back to Fonguk, who seems to be dropping in. That sort of deep line playmaker. Newtown have given us problems in this save, and Briscoe's making a run. Fisher does well to deal with it. Now Farkey gets there, finds Calder. Into midfield to Daly. I have now been able to set up 3 mentoring groups as well, due to the fact that we've got more leaders in the squad, but we're not doing great in possession, as Briscoe, 25 yards out, forces a good save from Spinelli. He's been worked in both of these games so far, and with a minute gone, it's Newtown who look the more likely, which is a worry. Corner kick comes into the back post, Jones is up, and the header's just off the crossbar. Bounces around all over the line. Francis Clark nearly puts it in, and now we've got the chance to break with Richards. He gives the ball away, I think, with a poor ball. In fact, O'Neill makes something of it. Keeps it in on the left-hand side, and we're still going. 2 minutes into the game, finds Noah Daly. Bolton's on the edge of the box. There's another man in the middle. A Daly shot is blocked for a corner. Key highlights, remember. I mean, it has been an entertaining start, but it does eventually end. 5 minutes gone. Chance at both ends. 0-0 is still the score. Well, on the right-hand side, we've got Dakin with a free kick. Dangerous position. Be nice to nick a game where we've not played brilliantly, as we did against Colwyn Bay. But that Stanley header, it was a bullet header, to be fair. But it was straight at the keeper. A couple of inches either side, that's a goal. But it stays goalless. And Newtown, they're staying in the game here, to be fair to them. But we are just starting to get on top. So hopefully, before too long, we can make it count. And Noah Daly, yet again, star of the show on the left-hand side. Well, half-time, and despite getting on top, we didn't create too many clear-cut chances, and it is still 0-0 at the break, probably because they've not got Ashmore starting in goal. Seb Bolton again has dropped off. Maybe he's just a big game player, I don't know, but he has scored hatfuls for us in the past. He might have to come off for Hamza Ahmed, though, and I guess having 2 strikers that can score is not a bad thing. Might be for the youth one to win it today. And there it is. I mentioned about Noah Daly being brilliant. Well, off he goes. Is that an injury or a red card? Just have to have a look here. It was an injury, that's okay. Noah Daly replaced by Lafondra on the left. With a minute gone in the second period, that is not the news we wanted, because in both of these games today, he has been our best creative player from attacking midfield. Well, there's 25 minutes to go. We're seeing nothing, and I'm not going to wait any longer. Calder is going to come off for Muscat. We'll bring on the reliable, well-known player at the club. We're going to take off Richards for Petrie. We're going to bring Brony Phillips on for Dakin. We're picking up a lot of yellow cards in midfield with those two. And then the big one, Seb Bolton off for Hamza Ahmed. It is your chance to be a hero again. He scored some massive goals for us this season and in this save overall. Don't forget that one at the end of last year to get seconds. And with 20 remaining, I need him again because we're not producing the goods at the minute. We're a little bit inconsistent. We're struggling for performance, but maybe that's when a set piece is needed as Lafondra's going to deliver the corner kick. Right-footed to the back post. Couple of players up and Zach Brennan gets the header in. First goal for the club. A massive moment for him. And that's that extra bit of height we've added in midfield. Gives us something extra. Excellent header at the back post from him. Lafondra up. You can see it was him. It was Fisher going for it. It's a really good header from Brennan. Keeper can't quite get there into the top corner. And he's not been a vintage display, but we're 1-0 up. And at the moment, we're keeping the ball rolling. And to get new players off the mark as they're settling in, never a bad thing at this point. If the daily injury isn't too bad and we nick a 1-0, go top of the league, this could be a good weekend, albeit with TNS to play tomorrow. As it's headed away as far as Fonguk and now Newtown, they have drawn against us a lot in this save. They might fancy their chances as they get down the left with Martin to Brandy, who's caused a threat a bit today, into Martin again, just over the bar. 5 minutes left on the clock. We can't make any more subs. All we can do is try and hold on, and so far we appear to be doing it. It's going to be a win, a narrow victory. Although there's 5 minutes added on to try and ruin that. Please just let this go into nothing. It does. Rhyl have won by 1-0. Brennan scored a big header at the back stick. We're doing it the Arsenal way. Set pieces are going to compete us for this title. Otherwise, we've got no chance. We didn't play our best. We got the result. A sign of champions, maybe? Let's see with TNS's fixture congestion. Let's have a look at the Noah Daly injury because that is the only thing that could ruin this for us. We have just signed an extra winger, so it's not a disaster. Kawanda's still at the club. But we could really do with this not being bad. Noah Daly out for 3 months. We cannot afford that with 2 games a week. So we might have to dip back into the market because 3 months is really pushing it. I know we've still technically got 4, but Kawanda's a scout who is an emergency option. And we're already a little light in attacking areas. We're getting rejected left, right and centre by upgrades we're trying to find. That's not the news we needed to finish, if I'm being honest, because after a quiet August, the 3 games a week is about to start. Brennan gets praised for winning us the game. He was fantastic there. But if we look at the fixture schedule for when we're going to be back, we've got 6 games next month. Would have been more if it wasn't for the Cup. But thankfully, we've got a little breather. And then 7 in October, plus the Welsh Cup starting in November. Actually, not getting through in the League Cup has made our season look all right. So when are we going to be back? Maybe somewhere around Cardiff, Met, Colwyn Bay, Pennybont, TNS. There's a lot of big games there. You feel we're going to have to show the TNS ones this season. So we'll judge it by eye. We'll see who people bring in at the end of the window and what signings they've got at the club. And then we'll make a decision. But somewhere between now and Pennybont and TNS, about the halfway mark, probably will feature Mould Alex as they always give us a good game. If you did enjoy this one though and you're looking forward to seeing how we get on this year, out of one cup, out of Europe already, but starting well in the domestic calendar, and please do put a thumbs up on it. Let's see how TNS do with the fixture congestion. Have you had that situation in any of your Welsh saves? Let us know how they've got on if that is the case. If you want to stay up to date and see how they do in this one, subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll have videos every weekday at 4:30 from this save, and then specials at the weekends, including a new save starting next week Sunday too. Keep your eyes peeled as well. Cricket 26 is released today as this video comes out. It's got a new manager career mode and we are going to feature that either here or on Switch. But at the time of recording, I haven't decided which yet. But keep your eyes peeled if you're a cricket fan or a manager game fan. And thank you for the support with all the guides, all the other playlists up in the eye above. And I'll see you again tomorrow to finish the week here. Hopefully with good news at TNS, transfers in for them. And maybe some good news at the top of the table for us. I'll see you there to find out if we can avoid more injuries and stay in a good position in the Welsh Premier League.